Oh, the countdown is on, isn't it? We're counting
Yes.
down back to school. There are some startling numbers to keep in mind before you send your young ones back.
Yeah.
So 1.3 million second grade students are behind in reading. 1.7 million are behind in math, according to the U.S. Department of Education.
So younger students not only struggling academically, we're also seeing the impact of COVID on their socio-emotional development. So joining us this morning is the clinical director of Long Island Counseling, Stacey Pelletieri, with some helpful tools. So good morning to you, Stacey. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So no secret, COVID triggered anxiety, triggered depression, right? Especially in older students. But what is surprising is that younger students now are lacking some of these basic abilities, right? So what learning issues are you seeing firsthand among the younger age groups, and how do you fix it?
Okay, great question. So a lot of people really expect that because they're younger and they didn't know any better, that they're not going to be affected, but they absolutely are. So what we're seeing is a large influx of young children coming in who have anxiety. And as we know, anxiety, of course, absolutely will affect learning. So what do children learn from their parents, right? When they're really young, is they learn, emotionally what's safe, what's not safe, how to react to things, how to interact. And, of course, obviously, a lot of learning takes place socially, exploring, the world around them, interacting, going into preschool, going into nursery school, going into mommy and me classes, whatever sort of, interactions that a child would normally have was interrupted. So now they're not really learning, the organization of what a classroom is, rules, how to follow certain rules, how to interact with their peers. And they're also, unfortunately, learning to be nervous and anxious of the world around them, from the people around them and from their family. And now we're putting them into school and expecting them to be able to follow these social norms that they have not experienced. And we're expecting them to know how to interact with peers. And so they are lagging behind in a lot of executive function skills, such as emotional regulation, taking turns, how to follow rules, how to organize, what to expect of other. And so they are behind. And so it's very easy to quantify being behind in reading and math, but not so easy to quantify being, behind emotionally.
Oh, students heading into second and third grade had their learning interrupted by COVID. Researchers say that this is when learning disabilities start to show up. So are there certain signs that parents should look for, or that teachers should maybe alert parents to?
Absolutely. So when it comes to learning disabilities, they can come from so many different things. So if we're looking at, signs that there are something coming from COVID, we're looking at the lagging social and emotional, skills. So we're looking at skills for emotional regulation, which means the ability to take turns, the ability to be told no, the ability to handle not having things be done the way that they need them to be done. Because these kids, a lot of them were just sat in front of an iPad or sat in front of a television while their parents were working from home, and they did not have the experience of being in a preschool or being in a daycare. They don't know how to take turns. They don't know how to follow rules. They don't know how to sit for prolonged periods of time. So if you see kids acting out, throwing tantrums, not understanding certain rules, it's very important to be aware that these skills are lagging and need to be taught just the same way that reading or math would need to be taught if they were lagging in those skills.
Right. So to offset the impact of COVID on students, teachers are suggesting that maybe they start a day with the social, emotional check-in with their students, right? So is that enough, though? And are schools even equipped to handle that? Do they have enough staff to kind of do that? Is it going beyond just the teacher and maybe to a guidance counselor as well?
Yes, great question. So I think it's great that they're doing that, because what it does teach is that there's an awareness to, talking about emotions, and that it's okay and safe to do that. But they absolutely have to go beyond that. I think that teachers really are not equipped to be able to handle this, because this is unprecedented. So they need to be armed with the information and the skills to know how to react to the child when the child is having the reactive episode to having to take turns, having things not be done the way that they are used to, having to follow certain rules in an organized way that's foreign to them. So it's really about them being able to sit with the child and say to them in a very calm way, hey, what might be happening for you? Let's talk about what's difficult. It is so important not to be punitive. I think a lot of times teachers or educators will lean into, discipline or Even unfortunately, we see suspensions, even amongst the young children who are lagging in these skills and are acting out in ways because they are so anxious and don't understand what's being put in front of them and how to handle it. And suspending them or being punitive or making them sit out of the room is only going to harm their self-esteem.
All right, hopefully this helps as people start the school year. We're out of time, but Stacey, appreciate you. Licensed clinical social worker, and good information here, all posted on pix11.com as well. Good to see you.